All right, what's up, Emerald Coast? Welcome to the show. I'm RJ Murdoch. This is Chris Seaman.
Hi, folks.
And
What's up, Emerald Coast?
Yeah.
Still making posts,
Making
arguing.
posts online.
I'm still arguing with people because
Yeah,
we got some very controversial stuff today.
There's a lot of stuff going on today. But, of course, a reminder for tomorrow. Beach is opening up. Most of Florida.
Shh. This show is worldwide.
Worldwide.
So we do not want the
We don't want a
world.
rush of people.
We don't want the world to rush here to our beautiful beach.
Yes. Well, but it's in some areas limited to certain times of the day. Here in Okaloosa County, from 7:30 to 9 and 4:30 to 7.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
We'll get into the whole sunbathing issue.
So I will be
later.
sunburned prior to the show.
Yeah.
And then
so make sure
I'll
you
go
wear
get
your
sunburned after the show.
protective gear tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hat, sunscreen, mask.
Public service announcement.
And
Go ahead. Let's start the show.
Let's start the show. Well, let's see. Well, first off, let's go ahead and start with our little shameless plug.
That's us.
That's Emerald Coast TV.
That's a shameless plug.
That's a shameless plug indeed. So, oops.
No
we
shame
go.
whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. We are actually live on Facebook right now if you're watching us, but we're also live on YouTube. And if you have the Roku or Amazon Fire app, you can be watching us live as well. So while you're sitting there trying to get some lunch and waiting for carry
Outside,
out or whatever,
yeah, waiting for your
or
delivery.
if you're at home and you want to watch it on the big screen, you have multiple choices to be able to do that.
Okay.
Yep. Also, we'd like to go ahead and give a big shout out to one of your near and dear favorite places to be.
Hey, CrabIsland.com. We'll be
Island.
there this weekend
Yeah.
for the Cyber Meet. Thank you. You got the logo on there and everything. Yeah.
It looks I like it.
I'm kind of excited.
Excited about that.
I'll start doing a tide report very soon, RJ.
Well, as a matter of speaking about reports, we do have a weather report from your partner in crime for
Oh, great. Let's go. Let's see
go
what
ahead
Ryan
and
has
give
to say.
Ryan, how's the weather out there?
Hey, what's up, Emerald Coast? This is Ryan with your CrabIsland.com. Weather report is Thursday and clear in a million. It's blue, sunny. Look at that sunrise. Got my girl down here walking on Redneck Beach. The beaches are opening tomorrow. I'll be at Crab Island on Saturday, so hope to see you out there. Back to you guys in the studio.
There we go. What a clown. That's awesome. So yeah, we'll be out there this weekend. We're going to start putting in a tide report because I used to get questions all the time of when does the water look like the logo.
Right.
And,
It's in the high tide, right?
it's the incoming tide,
Right.
not the high tide. It's actually the incoming as that
incoming
pretty
tide.
Gulf water is pushing through.
Pushing
And
through
it's
and pushing
even
all the
best
backwater
when there's a
back.
southern wind pushing even more water through, it becomes crystal clear.
And also, the direction of the sun will
Correct.
give you more green. If the sun is behind you, it's going to look greener. If
Too much
behind you-
science. It's too much science this early in the day for people,
Yeah,
RJ.
well, that's the videographer, because when we had to go film the power boat
Too much
storm,
science.
it's into
But
it.
anyway,
Well,
this weekend, start planning.
Start planning indeed.
We'll see you out
Well,
there.
speaking of
How about
days,
today?
National,
Today,
we
the
like to go
last
ahead and
day of
focus on
April.
national holidays. And
Go ahead.
today there's actually like 9 on nationaldaycalendar.com.
Okay.
But
But your favorites of the day
my
are?
favorites of the day is, well, this is the
Oh, that's a good
National
one.
Adopt a Pet Day.
I can roll with
so,
that.
and actually with this, a lot of people have been adopting more pets
Yes.
than before.
Yes.
Just because
They need some
need
companions.
some company. Some
You're stuck at
companionship.
home. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, what else we got?
Oh, my
Oh.
favorite.
Done. Show's over.
Yay!
I'm fine with that.
So what's up, Doc?
I would love to have Bugs Bunny right now, like sitting in studio and making commentary with his wit
Yeah.
about quarantine life. I mean, I miss those style cartoons.
Uh-huh.
Don't start doing your impersonation. I saw it coming.
I know.
Please don't. You need a carrot. But if they had that wit, a little bit,
cooking, Doc.
exactly, a little bit of Bugs Bunny, a little Daffy Duck, and talking about quarantine life would be quite comical. So, but I'm grateful that it's Bugs Bunny Day.
Bugs Bunny Day.
Please, the next one, I'm so ready. I went and saw my guy the other day. Come on now.
Oh, yes. Now, how many people really appreciate their hairstyles?
Right now, you're appreciating your hairstylist. I'm going to say in a shameless plug, Clark's Barbershop, behind Bank of America, off Agland Parkway, Port Walton Beach. I miss that place. I'm so excited. He's remodeling. I got to get in there and see my boy. This looks good-ish, but it needs some attention. I can't wait. Clark's Barbershop, I can't wait to see you. So today, you should show some appreciation. You know what? Everybody just call your hairstylist. Yes, I know you want to make an appointment. Call your stylist and just say,
Just talk.
you love them.
Yeah.
Just show them how much you love them.
They haven't had a good conversation in who knows how
What else
long.
we got? What else we got up there?
Okay. Oh, now, how many military brats do you think we have?
Wow,
in the area
that's
here?
an interesting Military Brat Day, April 3rd. You know,
Brats
that's kind of
Day.
cool. That
Because these guys usually think they don't get enough of attention and stuff like that.
But that's always, being if that's now on April 30th, that's right before when a lot of military wings in the springtime have a family day, and they'll have a big picnic, a big group. So that's kind of appropriate that on the 30th you appreciate the military brats. They do a lot. We, the people, ask of the people that are volunteered to defend our country. They move around a lot. They got they don't have any choice where they go. And if you're a kid, I've talked to some kids, look, I went to 15 schools in 18 years or whatever the case may be. And that's a very unique perspective on life as you're growing up. And
and it ends the whole month of the appreciation of the military child.
Sure.
April is the monthly appreciation.
There you go. So
and I
shout
can
out
tell
to
you
all the
a whole quick
brats.
story about that, but it's not quick. So one of those brag stories. They had to fly into D.C. to perform for Mrs. Casper Weinberger.
Okay.
Back in '86, because back at the time I was Thompson Blue, and I was mimed. I mimed my own business. They flew me in for one day for an afternoon reading, and interesting story on the way back. But we'll save that for. Let's get back to that.
You're gonna rebuild you're gonna bring back the performance, aren't you? I can see it.
Yeah. Well, the memories of it, at least it's all in here. But let's go back to our final one here
Last
for today. Oh, my favorite.
Oh, all in.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, I'm all in. That is
Oatmeal
definitely the
cookie
number 2
day.
cookie behind the chip.
Yeah, how many people
Definitely the number 2.
You get your Subways, you're like, yes, replace my chips with cookies, please.
Did you just give a
Oatmeal.
shameless plug to Subway? I expect
I
lunch
did.
tomorrow.
I wanted to give one to my my hairdresser as well.
Okay.
Koki Tyler.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. We got it there on that. So, again, we want to thank the nationaldaycalendar.com for providing us with some stuff. There were a couple of ones that did not make it into the cut for today. The
don't do them.
National Honesty Day.
Honestly?
Honestly. It was
Okay.
Raisin Day.
No, raisins don't deserve a day.
I love raisins. Raisin bran.
Okay.
Raisin.
No. Put it in your oatmeal cookie.
Bubble tea day.
I don't even know what that is.
What is a bubble tea?
Let's just move on. What
If
is
you
it?
know what it is, please put it in the comments.
I
'cause
have
I
no
don't
clue
know.
what bubble tea is.
And the Preparathon Day. I guess it's just a day that you put aside to prepare for everything you can.
We should have that day every day.
We should, like before we shut the
Yeah,
show.
exactly. Fair enough.
And of course, this show is fueled by Ma's Coffee, the coffee
Downtown
roaster,
Fort Walton
downtown
Beach.
Fort Walton Beach.
6 days a week, 8 to
right
2.
there on 98. So if you're driving on 98, especially if you're heading from
Well, you gotta get to it from
west
Brook
to
Street.
east, just
Brook Street.
pull right on over, grab yourself a cup of coffee.
Ask for Sydney, ask for Jim,
Mm-hmm.
tell him we sent you, and enjoy the caffeine.
And
Okay.
then where we would be with the show if we didn't know what we were going to talk about by reading from the Daily News.
Guess what? Beach is reopening. Hey, let's talk about a little bit about what that reopening
Beach
rules
is
are.
reopening.
Seems
There
like
we
we
go.
have it quite organized how the things are going to reopen. And now, I know you want to talk about the headline here, but I do love the fact that right along the side here where the Florida attorney is doing the Grim Reaper Beach Tour, and that was a Saturday Night Live skit. If you saw that, that was pretty good, where he's going to make sure that everybody visiting the beach understands that
Let's see if I can roll up on that one.
COVID-19 is still something to be reckoned with. And I can't wait. Are we going to start out with the Walton County version of this, or are we going to talk about just what's in the paper?
Oh, yeah, the whole new, the new version. We can kind of go into that, but let's go back to the main topic here of Florida reopening.
What are the rules?
We got some takeaways from it.
What are the rules?
And it really
These are
comes
the
down
rules for
to
you people tomorrow.
to
Follow the
something very
rules.
simple as
Follow the rules.
top 5 takeaways from it. Restaurants
they're
are going to be
over
opening.
Okay.
So you've got, the outdoor seating is going to be opening as long as you keep them the 6 feet.
So I see a
between
lot
the
of
front.
decks being built. I see a lot of patio furniture going
I do.
into restaurants. I'm going to bring this issue up because we'll talk about it later. I bet you seating requirements for restaurants, parking requirements required for restaurants for new ones are going to change. It's going to have to as we spread people out. If you've got a 3,000 square foot building and you can't necessarily add a couple thousand feet but need to seat people to match your goals as a business, some things are going to have to change, and that's one of those state compliance things that are going to be an issue down the road.
And the indoor seating is going to be limited right now to about 25%.
Correct. So so a lot of restaurants are going to struggle with that number. You know, you get in there with a certain amount of staff. You know, you can't change your kitchen staff for the most part. You can reduce the amount of front of the house staff, but the guys that are prepping the food, making the food, and the management of the store perhaps are kind of set.
Well, and that's one of the things they talk about in the article is the fact that the restaurants are now having to have more expenditure for the protective gear that
Correct.
they're
Well,
going to
that'll become normal.
Their cost,
that'll become
which
part of the.
Basically, could be adding to our cost when it comes down to it.
That'll become part of the norm, and that will get passed on to the end user. It's just like adding adding something into the cost of a beer. If you have to change a policy about alcohol laws, but when it comes to the operation of the restaurant and going down to 25% seating of the space, most big restaurants that you can think of, your local favorite restaurant that seats 150 people. They need to be sitting at 80% occupancy to hit their margins. And I'm just giving you a generic number. I don't want to get in an argument with everybody. Oh, we need to do more than that. We need to do less. But the industry average is, you need to be somewhere between 70 to 85%. And then if you're hitting 95%, you're a very profitable restaurant. And if you can only be at 25% capacity,
and that's why a lot of them are basically not even going to open up. They're just going to continue on the carry out.
That is correct.
Because the cost factors involved with everything required for this restrictions is going to be like
part of the show. Part of this premise of the show was that you and I got in a debate in the very beginning talking about how restaurants are going to be affected, for how bars are going to be affected. I know a little bit about a bar or two for a variety of reasons. Yes, and there's a lot of factors in play about social behavior in bars and restaurants. I am a recovering bar owner. Thank you very much. And but it's going to be interesting. And I do think one of the first things that will happen is people are, aside from adjusting your to-go and delivery operations, aside from adjusting your staff, you're going to see a lot of people being very cognizant of outdoor seating. Now, that's a norm already in this country in a lot of places, in cities and urban environments. But, here in Florida, it's not as easy as just throwing chairs outside. I got to remind people that, at lunchtime, it's 95 degrees.
Right.
No one's sitting outside having lunch. My rule as a bar owner was, and I'll just cut right to the chase for all you up-and-coming bar owners, women didn't like to be outside drinking when it was below 63 degrees. Period. I had a couple bars that had some outside areas.
And weather also will affect it.
And then weather goes in there. You throw in humidity. The hair rules the decision. It's National Hair Appreciation Day. I'm going to speak on behalf of all my female patrons. They put a lot of time into hair. You might not have to worry about it before you go have a cold beer at a bar. But when you're outside in humidity, after you've put a lot of time and energy into it, it's going to change people's behavior, and therefore it's going to change how operators operate. And we are going to have that as a topic. And over the course of the next few weeks, I've been inviting some restaurant owners to come on and talk specifically about their store, and and also give them a little bit of some advertising so they can come on here and say, hey, we're open, come see us. I think it'll be a great thing. We have some fantastic hospitality facilities in the Panhandle. We rival Disney for the number of restaurants for their market.
This is true.
The talent in the Panhandle is amazing. The seafood we have here is some of the best in the world. And then when you combine that with Sugar White Sands, we will get through this. We'll get through it as a team. I like that. We'll get through it as a team. But we want to do our part to promote those restaurants too. So
Absolutely.
What other changes have to happen here, RJ, according to the state?
And then the other takeaway we have.
Yeah, the screen. I got lots of pictures of me. I don't need to see me that much. Neither does everybody on that screen.
There we go. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Retails can operate at 25% indoor capacity.
Okay, well, that's what
I have to assume that that's what's been going on some of the essential places, the home.
Well, that's referencing.
And the Publix
Put that screen back up there if you could. That's referencing specifically the restaurant industry, the 25% indoor capacity.
Right, I guess, but right below it also for the retail.
So retail.
As well.
So that's going to be the number of people allowed in the store.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you're a clothier, whatever, you're a retail store at the Commons, and you have a fire capacity of allowing 40 guests in your store.
I was wondering what the capacity is.
It has to be based on fire occupancy code because that's already the state regulation.
Or square footage and 6 feet between.
Well, the square footage drives the fire occupancy.
You're right.
Okay?
And that's
So,
that makes sense.
okay, so there's already the regulation, and I love getting the debates with people about state regulations and government regulation. Look, some of them are there. Government does work for that purpose. Now government needs to step up and do their job. Is it going to be unfortunate and difficult? Yes. Is it going to affect things? Yes. But if you got a very busy retail store because you got the best bikinis, and we're going to talk about that in a second, because you're going to need one for Walton County apparently.
We better get to this list if we want to get to.
I want to get to the joke.
We want to get to the meat of the show.
But if you got a retail store that's very much in demand, that people just are going to be outside, so there might be a lot of seating outside of retail stores too, where people can wait. But then again, who's going to wait in 90-degree heat to go into a store? So
it's not a lot more sidewalk sales.
Again,
and stuff
social
like that.
behavior is going to adapt.
I wanted to go ahead and move forward on because I know we have a limited time and we're getting close.
Elective surgeries can resume.
Right. Well,
that's not good. I'm 50 now.
I need to go to the dentist. That is considered an elective surgery, unless of course I'm in pain.
Go to the dentist. I have a colonoscopy coming up. I was hoping this
That's
COVID
elective, though, right?
I'm being told I must do it. Okay? I'm just saying, I was using that as an excuse, but there's a pandemic. I cannot have you guys touching my butt. And the lady's like, anyway. Thanks a lot, Governor.
Honestly,
I have to have a colonoscopy. I'll trade you. I'll go do your dental appointment.
I've done mine already. All right. What else have we got on the takeaways? Well, of course,
Gyms,
bars, gyms,
salons.
salons are still going to remain closed. So that National Hair Appreciation Day
must carry on.
We must still appreciate the fact that we miss those guys very much. And then
I see gyms opening up a little easier. I mean, they've already opened some.
Some of them have taken their gym, or
Spaced
some of the personal trainers have gone over and taken them to.
Sure. But not everybody can do that. That's a bit pricey. A lot of these CrossFit gyms and all, they rely on getting groups in there. They've even tried, I know CrossFit, one of the national brands that was real popular, was trying to do it online. And even he said, the owner, I remember reading an interview with him, and he said he can only do so long without the people physically walking into the stores or into their, whatever, the garage unit they use or the end cap of a shopping center.
Well, they have more of the gear that's going to be required for them.
It's not even about the gear. It's about the business model of what these people do in CrossFit. It's about team effort, encouraging socially.
It's the peer pressure
to do the work.
The social peer pressure.
Hey, RJ, do 10 more push-ups.
This is true.
And so if you don't have that element, they're going to have to be cognizant about spacing their own selves in these gyms and these workout facilities. And a lot of the gyms that have the machinery in there, they've already started spacing. But now, this idea of somebody leaves the machine and doesn't wipe up their sweat, now you can officially, publicly shame them. How about that? Now, I wouldn't do that to somebody bigger than me.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Publicly shame. Everybody will be walking around with their own spray, their own sanitizer.
And then, of course, we're still trying to protect our vulnerable society. So that makes a lot of sense.
So retired facilities, everybody's going to be living in a bubble.
I'd love to go back to the whole beach thing, the limited time.
Let's talk about the beach.
But there's some activities recently with
we got
Walton County.
Well, hold on a second. Now, if you're following along, I'd love to go to this phone call right here that we get when Sean Murphy calls in. Yeah. That's going to be our next guest. We need him to call in for to talk, because that guy probably has some seriously good pandemic advice. But, I was paying attention to these rules so we could talk about this. And if you were watching the Walton County Commissioner, now listen, I give a lot of credit to elected officials. I am not one that does not like people in government. They're my neighbors. I appreciate anybody that raises their hand, even if I disagree with them, that raises their hand and said, I will serve my community and put my best foot forward. Now, that doesn't excuse people from terrible behavior or being a clown or whatever the case may be. But I do give them a lot of credit. As our buddy Chatham said the other day, he's a city councilman in Destin, managing this pandemic and operational of the community is like managing a dumpster fire. That phrase has sat in my head because that's the only true way to describe it. But sometimes when the managers of the dumpster fire start to say something, are you going to show this clip? I really want to see this clip.
Oh, you really want to see this clip?
I want to see this clip.
Well,
I have not really seen it, but I heard this clip was a county commissioner in response.
Right. They opened up the floor for public comments.
And the question was, you're allowed to walk the beach, you're allowed to fish.
She actually asked the question.
But you're not allowed, you can lay in a chair, but you can't sunbathe.
Call in user 3. Please identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Becky Amshoff, A-M-S-H-O-F-F.
Okay, Miss Becky, go ahead.
I just want some clarification on the beach activities. You're stating that the vote said those will include walking, jogging, boating, fishing, surfing, paddleboarding, and water sports activities. No sunbathing permitted. Yet you're telling callers they're allowed to bring chairs and umbrellas. How do those fall into those activities? What are you defining as sunbathing?
The common, heck, I don't know, lady. Good gracious. Everybody's getting down.
Well, you got to know because we're depending on you to know.
Yeah, well, you're fixing to hear it from me if that's what you want to hear. Sunbathing is laying,
Okay, well, that's a
laying
little
on,
Wait,
rude.
it gets better.
laying
just
on
asking
a
a question.
blanket on the beach.
There you
That's
go.
sunbathing.
That is the definition
If you
of
want to
sunbathing.
sit in a
That's
chair,
not-
that's up to you.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
But your vote stated that it included specific activities. None of those activities need a chair or an umbrella.
But, Mr. Chairman, most people sunbathe. Most people bathe in the nude. So if you have your clothes on in a chair, then are you really sunbathing?
I don't see it in Oklahoma County.
I'm glad this is humorous.
Well,
Where is the
never mind.
new bathing,
All right,
sunbathing beach?
next,
We're trying to get clarification.
I'd
that's
like to
all.
promote the new
All right.
sunbathing beach.
call legal
I
and
don't know
they'll
how
tell
much
you
more of
about
that we
it.
want.
That's enough.
Get into
That's awesome. Just his reaction. It's not fair that the one commissioner tried to make light of it, and the guest is the caller is actually, you know, as a citizen, that's a legitimate thing. But then again, I go back to the commissioners are having to answer serious medical concerns. The Grim Reaper tour that the state attorney is being mocked for, and at the same time, people want to get on the beach. But to debate, you know, sunbathing in a chair, to chair or not to chair,
The chair, not the
makes
chair.
no sense to me.
Or in this case, what it is described, clothes or no clothes.
Now I could, listen, you're busting out the bar guy. I would love to discuss
the CrabIsland.com guy.
the CrabIsland.com.
Yeah.
I believe at Crab Island clothing is still optional. I don't know. I'm going to have to go to some of the council out there,
Clothing is
the
required.
Crab Island commissioners, to discuss whether or not that is a real thing. I see on some of our people that have been watching the show today, I got one down there, my buddy Wayne Anderson. You know, he's got a great restaurant out there in Walton County.
Yeah.
And he's across the street from the beach. So Wayne, go ahead and message me because I would love to have your take on what's happening in Walton County. You're pretty much one of those people that are probably deciding
Let's
the
bring him
fate.
on next week.
We'll do that next week with you, my
sure.
friend, because I'd love to hear your take. Maybe go walk right out on the beach and see if anybody is sunbathing and what the appropriate attire is. That's fantastic. I mean, I feel on one hand, I want to laugh. And on the other hand, I want to give that commissioner a hug from 6 feet away because I feel for him.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. So all I can say to our viewers out there is we're coming to the end of the show.
We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's not a
But
train.
As the governor's mentioned, we're going to do it safely, step by step,
With our clothes on.
with our clothes on.
Yeah, sun
All right,
spray.
a quick shout out for our one comment on the Emerald Coast TV.
No, we had a
site.
couple more, but Vicky's on there watching.
Right, so thanks a lot, Vicky.
Vicky would be
being on
great to come watch to help discern appropriate sunbathing attire and if it's COVID compliant. I'd like to volunteer to be that guy.
there. Be that guy.
I mean, I want to be the Grim Reaper assistant, walk down the beach and go, that's too much clothing.
I don't know Vicky well enough.
I do. She'd be fantastic. It would be funny as it could get.
All right,
So,
well, our time is up and over.
was good stuff.
But it was good stuff.
I'm
Had
ready
a
for the
great
beach.
time.
I know everybody is, but everybody tomorrow, as we get started doing this and going into the weekend, stay rational, my friends.
Absolutely.
Please stay safe and stay rational.
And with that, we're out of here.